It started the way most romantic disasters do, with an overcooked text message and way too much confidence. I was sitting in the break room at work, nursing a lukewarm coffee and my third rejection email of the week, when I decided I'd had enough. Enough hesitation. Enough overthinking. Enough wondering what if. So, I did the thing I swore I'd never do. I texted Ben. Well, I thought I did. Ben from marketing. 6 foot something, wears ironic t-shirts, and has this slow smile that makes you question your life choices. We'd been orbiting each other for months, dancing around vague compliments and accidental meetings at the coffee machine. He once complimented my spreadsheet formatting. I took it as a love confession, so I typed out the boldest message I've ever sent in my adult life. Okay, I'm just going to say it. If I don't ask you out for tacos this week, I'll explode. Are you in? I paused, read it 6 times, and hit send before I could chicken out. I tossed my phone into my purse like it was a grenade and immediately regretted everything. 30 seconds later, ping. A response. That was fast. My stomach did a flip, then a backflip, then threw up a little. I pulled out my phone and saw. Absolutely. I love tacos, especially if you're picking the place. I exhaled so hard the vending machine shuddered. We kept texting throughout the day. Jokes, teasing, mildly flirty banter that I couldn't believe was actually happening. It was like years of imaginary scenarios were finally getting their moment in the sun. Should I bring a taco rating notebook? I'd said, only if we rank salsa heat on a scale of emotional trauma, he replied. This was it. Except, here's the thing. When I saved Ben's number, I had labeled it Ben Taco Vibes. But somewhere along the line, I also saved another number during a group project meeting. Another Ben, different department, different last name, same area code. You see where this is going. But I didn't. Not yet. Not through the planning of our taco date. Not even when he said, I've been hoping you'd say something. I thought he meant us. The slow build-up of casual office chemistry. The near-hand touches at the printer. The time we both laughed at the boss's motivational email at the same time. Clearly destiny. Our taco date was set for Thursday. I wore my effortlessly charming outfit, the one that says, I'm confident, but also maybe spilled coffee on my shirt this morning and powered through. I got to the restaurant early, nerves buzzing like bees trapped in a tin can. Then I saw him walk in. Ben. But not that Ben. Not marketing Ben. Not ironic t-shirt Ben. This was IT Ben. Quiet, wears beige polos, always looks like he's trying to solve an equation in his head. Nice guy, but not my guy. He saw me, smiled, and said, so tacos, huh? And that's when I realized. I'd been texting the wrong Ben the entire time. I wish I could say I played it cool, that I laughed it off, charmed my way through dinner, and walked away with a funny story. But what really happened was, I choked on a complimentary tortilla chip and nearly died in front of Ben number 2. He leaned forward, concerned. Are you okay? I nodded, eyes watering, cheeks burning. Just wasn't expecting the salsa to come for my soul like that. I croaked. He laughed. A real, honest laugh. And in that moment, I had 2 choices. Bolt for the door or roll with it. Against all logic and basic social training, I stayed. We ordered tacos. He got barbacoa. I got the carnitas, mostly so I could keep my mouth busy and avoid saying something idiotic. For the first 10 minutes, I was caught in this weird out-of-body experience, watching myself fake confidence while my brain did frantic math. How had I confused the numbers? Why hadn't I noticed the tone? How did I not realize I was talking to IT Ben? The guy who once fixed my laptop and told me I had excellent folder organization with a completely straight face. But something strange happened. Between bites of tacos and self-imposed humiliation, I started enjoying myself. Ben, this Ben, was funny. Not the flashy kind of funny, but the quiet, sharp kind. He had dry one-liners, an encyclopedic knowledge of 90s rom-coms, and a surprisingly savage opinion on guacamole pricing. He also confessed, halfway through his second taco, that he thought I had definitely meant to text someone else at first. You don't usually look at me like I'm a potential taco partner, he said, sipping his horchata. I nearly snorted mine. Why didn't you say anything? I asked. He shrugged. Because when someone invites you to tacos, you say yes. Doesn't matter who it's meant for. I couldn't tell if that was the cutest or most tragic thing I'd ever heard. Maybe both. We walked out of the restaurant an hour later, full and slightly buzzed on spicy salsa and unexpected company. I turned to him, still unsure how to wrap up the world's weirdest date that wasn't. Thanks for being cool about this, I said. You know, the mistaken identity of it all. He grinned. Honestly, best accidental invite I've ever received. Then he added, and not to make things weird, But if you ever do want to do it again, with full awareness, I'm game. I blinked. Like an intentional taco date. Exactly, he said. No confusion. Just tacos and a girl who organizes her folders like a superhero. I stood there, brain short-circuiting from how bizarre and oddly sweet the whole night had been. Then I said, okay, next Thursday. Deal. I walked home in a daze. Not over marketing Ben, but over the fact that this strange twist might be a blessing. I was about to text my best friend the whole saga when I saw I had a new message. From Ben, Taco Vibes. Hey, you never followed up on tacos. You still want to go? And just like that, the plot thickened. I stared at the message like it had grown fangs. Hey, you never followed up on tacos. You still want to go? From Marketing Ben. The original Ben. The one I meant to text in the first place. It was like the universe had decided to play its favorite game. Let's see how awkward we can make her lunch breaks. For a full 5 minutes, I paced my apartment in socks and overthinking. What was I supposed to do? Say, sorry, I already took your taco spot and gave it to another Ben by accident. That sounded insane. Or, actually, I thought I was talking to you the whole time, but I wasn't. So now I've formed an accidental bond with a completely different person, and honestly, I'm kinda into it. Nope, definitely not saying that. So I did what most people in my situation would do. I lied by omission. Hey, sorry, I got super slammed at work. Would love to grab tacos sometime though. Maybe next week. I hit send and immediately regretted everything. Again, he replied with a thumbs up and a taco emoji. Classic Marketing Ben. Casual, easy, and just flirtatious enough to make you question everything. The next day at work, I saw both Bens. Taco Vibes Ben walked past my desk and gave me a smile, the kind that felt like an inside joke. IT Ben, the accidental taco date, was refilling his coffee mug across the break room. He glanced over, caught my eye, and raised his cup slightly like a toast. I felt like I was living in a low-budget romantic comedy, written by someone with commitment issues. That evening, while brushing my teeth, I kept thinking about IT Ben's laugh. How it had snuck up on me. How unexpectedly comfortable the whole evening had been. But I also thought about Marketing Ben, the one I'd crushed on for months. The one who, until recently, felt like the right choice. 2 Bens, 1 heart, 0 clue. And just when I thought the situation couldn't get any more tangled, I got another message. This time, from neither Ben. It was from Lexi, my friend in HR. Hey, weird question. Are you dating both Bens? Because if so, I think you just got booked into the same escape room night with both of them. Grimacing face. What? There are texts you can read without blinking. Then there are texts that make your stomach fall out of your body and hide under the couch. Lexi's message was definitely the second kind. Both Bens. Escape room. Same night. Same time. I dropped my toothbrush in the sink and stared at the mirror like it owed me answers. I vaguely remembered Lexi organizing some kind of team bonding outing a few weeks back and sending a sign-up sheet around. I must have put my name down, because at the time, it felt like the kind of thing a well-rounded, friendly, completely not in the middle of a romantic identity crisis employee would do. And apparently, both Bens had signed up too. By the time I confirmed with Lexi that yes, the spreadsheet had locked me into a 6 p.m. reservation this Friday night. My life was officially a romantic sitcom with no writer's room to save me. Do I fake an illness? I asked her in a panic. No, mandatory for your team. Plus, the escape room's already paid for. Also, I want to see how this plays out. Some friend. Friday arrived faster than expected. I stood outside the dimly lit escape room venue in my most neutral outfit. Something that said, I'm approachable and mysterious, but also please don't propose to me or ask what I'm doing Saturday. Ben, Marketing, arrived first. He looked good, annoyingly good, in a denim jacket and that effortless charm he always carried. Hey, he said, with a grin that made me briefly forget my own name. Hey, I replied, trying not to implode. 2 minutes later, IT Ben appeared. Same khakis, same calm energy. Evening, he said, nodding. His eyes flicked to Marketing Ben, then to me. Didn't realize it was all 3 of us. Neither did I. I lied very badly. The escape room host clapped her hands. All right, team. You're the 6 p.m. group. You'll be working together to escape the Pharaoh's Tomb of Peril. You've got 60 minutes. Let's go. And just like that, the doors closed behind us, and I was locked in a dimly lit pyramid-themed chamber with 2 guys I may or may not be accidentally dating. The first puzzle involved matching hieroglyphics. The real puzzle? Surviving the next hour without spontaneously combusting. The first 10 minutes were a blur of ancient symbols, passive-aggressive teamwork, and me pretending I knew what I was doing while my internal organs took turns panicking. Ben, marketing, took charge right away, striding confidently toward a wall covered in tiles. This looks like a cipher. I used to do these as a kid. Of course he did. Of course he was a cipher guy. Meanwhile, Ben silently scanned the room, zeroing in on a locked chest in the corner. He crouched beside it, tugged at the latch, and murmured, "I think this one's magnetic. Might be a hidden key somewhere." The two of them didn't speak to each other at first, but you could feel it in the air, the awareness. The kind of subtle male tension that hangs heavy like humidity before a storm. I tried to focus. "Okay, I'll check that statue over there. Maybe something's hidden inside." Ben, marketing, nodded. "Good idea, partner." And I swear, Ben's eyebrow twitched. 12 minutes in, the awkwardness began to crack. Marketing Ben broke the silence with a casual, "So, how do you two know each other?" "Here we go." I froze. "We, work together." "Kinda." Ben 2 said flatly, not looking up from the lock. Ben 1 raised an eyebrow. So you're the one who keeps fixing her computer when it crashes during her spreadsheets." Ben glanced at him. "And you're the guy who keeps giving her PowerPoint compliments." I blinked. "Wait, you both remember my spreadsheet formatting?" "Of course," they said in unison. "Kill me. Bury me in this pyramid-themed coffin." After that, it got weirder. They began competing. Subtly at first, who could solve the next puzzle fastest, who found the next clue, who got to hand me a flashlight. Then it turned into light jabs. "Nice idea, Ben," marketing Ben said, after Ben pointed out a hidden lever. "You must be great at finding things, like Wi-Fi signals." Ben didn't even flinch. "And you must be great at selling things, like yourself." I looked at the security camera in the corner, briefly wondering if the employees were watching this unfold like a soap opera. I wouldn't blame them. At the 45-minute mark, I'd solved exactly one puzzle and 3 emotional meltdowns. The final room opened, glowing blue with dramatic music. "Final challenge," the speaker said. "Choose who will take the last step." Ben 1 and Ben 2 both turned to me. At the same time. "I vote you decide," said Ben. Marketing Ben gave me a half smile. "Yeah, who do you want to unlock the exit?" And that's when it hit me. This wasn't about puzzles anymore. I looked at both of them, then at the giant golden scarab-shaped lock looming in front of the exit door. The final puzzle. The final move. And I was the one holding the last piece. Literally. I had found the jeweled scarab under a fake mummy's foot 5 minutes earlier and had been too preoccupied with emotional whiplash to realize its importance. I held it up. "So, one of you has to place it in the slot to end the game?" Marketing Ben shrugged. "Seems that way." Ben crossed his arms. "Or you could do it." I blinked. "Me?" "Yeah," he said, "you've been navigating 2 storylines at once. That deserves a win." For a second, I thought he was mad. But he wasn't. He was amused. Or maybe just tired. Of what? That was the twist. Marketing Ben, on the other hand, looked intrigued. "Honestly, that's fair. You're the common denominator in this escape triangle." I hesitated. The game was clearly symbolic now, and I hated metaphors under pressure. But I walked up to the panel anyway, heart pounding. I clicked the scarab into place. The door burst open. Triumphant music played. Fog machines activated. A staff member poked her head in, clapping. "Congrats! You made it out with 7 minutes to spare." We stepped into the lobby, blinking under fluorescent lights. And then, suddenly, we were just 3 coworkers standing in an arcade-themed gift shop next to a shelf of Pharaoh-shaped stress balls. Ben 1 turned to me. "So, tacos next week?" Ben 2 cleared his throat. "You already had tacos." I winced. The escape room wasn't over. Just the props had changed. I opened my mouth, ready to say something. I didn't even know what, but was interrupted by the receptionist calling out, "Hey, you left this in the first room." She handed me a notebook. "Not mine." "It's his," she said, nodding at Ben. I watched his face flicker with surprise, genuine, small, and oddly vulnerable. He took it from her, opened to the first page, and his ears went red. I caught a glance. It wasn't a tech manual or a puzzle notebook. It was a journal. And scrawled on the first page, in small, all-caps handwriting, was this. Things I notice about her. And below it, an actual list. 1. Her coffee order changes when she's nervous. 2. She hums when she reads long emails. 3. She only wears yellow on days she's feeling hopeful. Ben froze. Then slowly closed the notebook. Marketing Ben leaned over to peek and stopped mid-breath. "Well," he said quietly. I stood there, speechless. One Ben had flirted with me. The other had been watching. The room fell into that dense silence that feels like the second before a storm, thick with questions and too many truths crashing into each other. I should have said something. Anything. Instead, I just stood there like a Wi-Fi router mid-reboot. IT Ben, let's just call him Notebook Ben now, held the journal tight against his chest. He didn't look embarrassed. Not exactly. More like exposed. Like someone who just realized the curtains had been open the whole time. I forgot it was in my bag, he said, voice low. Didn't mean for it to be public. Marketing Ben stepped back a little, lips pressed into a line. Guess I'm late to the plot. Not a plot, Notebook Ben said, looking directly at me. Just me noticing things. That's all. That's all. Like noticing I only wore yellow when I was hopeful. Suddenly, all the quiet moments came rushing back. The way he'd always passed by just as my computer froze. The way he once restocked my favorite tea in the break room after I mentioned missing it in passing. The time he asked, "Long day?" after I'd smiled too tightly at a meeting. I always thought those things were polite. Turns out, they were chapter titles. Marketing Ben gave a short, not unkind laugh. Wow, you two really did have tacos, huh? I turned to him. It wasn't supposed to be him. He raised an eyebrow. And yet, you showed up. There was no malice. Just a sort of bittersweet acceptance. I had chased a fantasy, his smile, his charm, the idea of him, while someone else had been quietly building a reality in the background. I think, Marketing Ben said slowly, I'm gonna head out. I've got a thing. I nodded, heart thudding. Ben. He waved a hand, almost gently. It's okay. For what it's worth, you have excellent spreadsheet formatting. And then he left. Notebook Ben still stood by the door, flipping the journal open and closed like he wasn't sure what to do with it. I walked up beside him. You noticed all those things and didn't say anything? I didn't think it mattered, he said with a half smile. I didn't think you noticed me. I swallowed. Maybe I didn't. Not the way I should have. We stood there in silence, surrounded by novelty mugs and Faro stress balls, the smell of dry erase markers in the air. Then I asked, want to get tacos again? No confusion this time. He looked up, eyes warm. That sounds good, he said. But only if I can write about it later. Taco date. Round 2 felt less like a date and more like a quiet revelation. There was no nervous dressing up, no mental rehearsals in front of the mirror. Just me and Notebook Ben, sitting across from each other in a tiny booth under a flickering neon cactus sign, sharing a basket of chips like it wasn't holding the emotional weight of an entire plot twist. So, I said, breaking a tortilla chip in half, what else is in the notebook? He smirked. You really want to know? I think I deserve to. All right, he said, pulling the worn notebook from his bag and flipping it open. Page 16. Things she says without realizing she's funny. He read. 1. I need caffeine, but like, emotionally. 2. That spreadsheet has more drama than a soap opera. 3. If I don't get out of this meeting, I will become vapor. I blinked. Well, I talk like that. All the time, he said, laughing. It's kind of my favorite part. I didn't know what to do with the way that made me feel. Like I'd accidentally become someone worth remembering. We talked through dinner, about work, our weird coworkers, the time his mom accidentally joined a Zoom meeting in a giraffe onesie, and the fact that he'd been journaling quietly about people for years. Not just me. Just things he observed. People were puzzles to him, and I was apparently his favorite one. When the check came, he insisted on paying. As thanks for unknowingly dragging me out of my comfort zone, he said. I offered to split it, but he waved me off. You gave me a story. That's worth at least one taco combo. Outside, the evening was cool, and the sky was doing that dusky blue-pink thing that feels like the city is exhaling. We walked slowly. No rush. No awkward pauses. Just the kind of quiet that feels earned. Before we parted ways, he handed me something. A tiny piece of folded paper. What's this? I asked. Page 32, he said, smiling. Things she doesn't know yet. I unfolded it. You're better than the story I was writing. I didn't say anything at first. Just stared at the words like they might melt if I blinked too fast. Then I looked up, heart pounding in that slow, full way. Ben. Yeah, I think you might be better than the story I was chasing. He smiled, wide and real, and for the first time in this whole ridiculous, beautiful mess, I knew exactly who I was supposed to be standing next to. The following Monday, everything at work felt a little different. Not dramatic, just lighter. Like someone had finally opened a window that had been stuck shut for years. I caught sight of Marketing Ben in the hallway, and to my surprise, he smiled first. A real one. Not flirty or loaded, just two people quietly agreeing that the story had turned a different page. We nodded like old teammates from a season long over. Notebook Ben, on the other hand, met me by the printer with a hot coffee in hand. Hazelnut, 2 sugars, he said. Statistical probability said you'd need it after this morning's meeting. I'm actually more of a caramel mood today, I teased. He looked mock-wounded. You changed. I contain multitudes. We were still new, whatever this was. But something about it already felt lived in. There was no pressure to perform, no silent test I had to pass. Just a sense that he saw me, and I was starting to see him back. Later that week, Lexi cornered me in the break room with the subtlety of a stampede. Okay, are you officially dating IT Ben now? She hissed. I mean, we've had 2 taco nights, and he gave me a poetic list about myself, so maybe. She grinned. Office romance drama and an escape room showdown? You've peaked. I'm terrified, I whispered. You should be, she whispered back. It means it might actually matter. That Friday, he left a small note on my desk. Not a grand gesture. Just a sticky note folded in half. Friday night. Rooftop. 7:30. When I got there, he was already waiting, 2 fold-up chairs, a blanket, and a thermos between us. Hot cocoa, he said. Because caffeine after 7 p.m. gives you chaotic dreams. I blinked. Have you been taking subconscious notes now? He raised his eyebrows. Wouldn't you like to know? We talked under string lights and stars, the city buzzing quietly below. At one point, he reached over, not in a dramatic swoop, just a gentle nudge, and took my hand. I didn't flinch. So, he said softly, if you could go back to that first text, would you send it to the same person? I smiled. I did send it to the right person. I just didn't know it yet. He nodded like that was all he needed to hear. But just when I thought the story had reached its warm, satisfying end, something strange happened. Back at my apartment that night, I got a message from a number I didn't recognize. You don't know me, but I've been reading about you. The message sat there on my screen like a plot twist waiting to happen. You don't know me, but I've been reading about you. I blinked. Was this a scam? A weird prank? Or had someone discovered that ancient Tumblr I'd abandoned in college? Before I could spiral, another message popped up. Notebook Ben showed me your list. The one from the escape room. I froze. My heart gave one of those uneasy thuds that usually meant a caffeine overdose or the beginning of a personal reckoning. I typed back, cautiously. Who is this? The reply came fast. His sister. I borrowed his journal over the weekend. Just for fun. He doesn't know I saw the part about you. Oh no. Oh no. I started sweating. And then came the next text. You should know something. He's been writing about you for over a year. I sat down. Because standing suddenly felt too ambitious. He noticed you way before you ever looked his way. The day you spilled coffee on your keyboard and swore under your breath. He wrote, she has a quiet kind of fire. Like a slow burn that only people really paying attention would notice. I didn't respond. I couldn't. Then came the final message. He's always been like this. Pays attention, but doesn't always say it out loud. I just thought, you might want to know how far back it really goes. That night, I lay awake in bed, the city humming outside my window, those words echoing like tiny footprints across my mind. He noticed before I noticed myself. The next morning, I found him in the office early, already settled at his desk, sipping tea and wearing that usual calm like it was a hoodie. I walked up slowly, heart thudding, and said, you're kind of a secret romantic. You know that? He blinked, surprised. What? Your sister texted me. The traitor, he muttered under his breath. I grinned and leaned down just enough for only him to hear. I'm glad you wrote it all down. It makes me feel like I was living a love story before I even knew it. He looked up at me, quiet, searching. So, what do we call this now? I thought about it, then said, maybe this time, we don't label it. We just live it. He nodded, smiled, and wrote something down in the corner of his notepad. I tried to peek, but he snapped it shut. Hey, I said, laughing. That's not fair. You can't keep writing chapters one don't get to read. He tilted his head. Maybe I'm just waiting for the ending. But little did we know, someone else was writing about us, too. It started with a whisper in the hallway. The kind that grows legs and sprints through a workplace faster than a free donut alert. I overheard it near the copier. Did you hear someone's been writing about them? Who? You know, the girl with the spreadsheet game. And the quiet guy from IT. It's online. Online. By the time I got back to my desk, Lexi had already messaged me a link. You need to see this. The page loaded slowly. Probably because my hands were shaking. A blog. Anonymous. Clean layout. Minimalist font. A title that read, The Accidental Love Story. A 12-part series, so far. I scrolled. Each post was a scene. Moments I recognized instantly. The lunchroom I contact. The coffee spills. The infamous escape room. The taco nights. Even the note he left on my desk. Word for word. My heart dropped. It wasn't malicious. Actually, it was beautifully written. Honest. Gentle. Romantic in that quiet way that felt familiar. Too familiar. And then I reached the latest post. titled The Scarab Decision. That was our moment, the one where I chose the lock, where both bins had stood there waiting, and I'd realized this was no longer a misunderstanding, it was a choice. I stared at the final paragraph. Sometimes, the right person isn't the one who stands in the spotlight. It's the one scribbling in the back row, writing you into their story while you're busy chasing someone else's. I sat back, pulse racing. It was beautiful. It was intimate. It was us. Notebook Ben walked by my desk, mug in hand, completely unaware. I pulled him aside. "Hey," I said, "do you have a blog?" His eyebrows knit. "No. I journal, but I don't post it anywhere." I believed him. He looked genuinely confused. I pulled up the page and turned my screen. "Then who's this?" He read a few lines. Blinked. "Whoa. Exactly," I whispered. "Whoever it is, they've been watching." He looked up at me, serious now. "This isn't just someone retelling it. This person knows how it felt." That's weird, and kind of terrifying. We weren't just in a story anymore. Someone else was writing it. We sat in the back booth of the coffee shop across the street, laptops open, nerves stretched tighter than fresh Wi-Fi cable. "This is like being inside a glass house," I said, scrolling through the blog again. "Except the walls are made of feelings." Notebook Ben was focused, scanning each post like it might suddenly reveal a clue. "These timestamps," he murmured. "They align almost exactly with when things happened. Some even down to the hour." "You think it's someone in the office?" I asked. He didn't answer right away. Instead, he leaned back, eyes narrowing slightly. "It has to be. We created a list. People who were there for the escape room. Who walked past our desks. Who might have heard things, noticed things. It was like Clue, but with more emotional exposure and less candlestick murder. Then we saw it. A new post. Just published. Title: The Last Entry." My hands went cold. We opened it together. Stories, like spreadsheets, are best when the pieces align. So here's the last piece. I wasn't just writing this for fun. I was writing it for her. To remind her she's seen. That someone was always paying attention, even before she thought anyone noticed. Notebook Ben looked confused. "That's not my writing. I'm not the Ben you ended up with. I'm the one who knew I was never meant to be the ending." I stopped breathing. I just wanted her to know, before she closed the book, that someone else was watching too. Not to win, just to witness. And sometimes, that's enough. We stared at the screen. Neither of us said anything for a long time. Then I whispered, "Marketing Ben." Notebook Ben blinked. "No way." But I knew. I knew. All this time, while I was chasing a feeling and discovering another, someone else, quietly, from the side, had been narrating it, documenting the awkwardness, the hope, the shift. Not to interfere, not to reclaim the ending, just to give it context, to honor it. At the bottom of the post was a single line. "This is my last page. The rest is yours." I closed the laptop gently. My chest felt weird, full and hollow at the same time. Notebook Ben reached across the table and laced his fingers with mine. "You okay?" I nodded. "I think I just got 2 love stories for the price of 1. He smiled. "Well, the second one better come with tacos." "Oh," I said, grinning now, "it absolutely will." And just like that, we stepped off the page.